Welcome, everyone, to Casual Friday. I hope you're having a marvelous day. I have to apologize. I've got my mic right in my face today because, well, the lawnmowers are up there, and they are those commercial lawnmowers. They are not quiet. So I'm kind of juggling and bobbing my head around this mic, and usually I have it a little bit further away. I hope you're doing well. We're here in southern Alberta. It is sunny, it's hot, and we're enjoying the weather. I hope you're doing well. I know for some of you that it's getting close to the end of the day. For those in Eastern Canada, and for those at the coast, yeah, you still have a few more hours before the end of the day and before the weekend. So I hope you're doing well. We've got a really fun live stream for you today. We've got some special stuff that we've kind of alluded to a little bit in the email that I sent out, and we're going to have some fun. So just a couple of heads up: we're not going to be doing a live stream for the next 3 weeks. I'm on holidays, so I'm disconnecting from all my tech, well, most of my tech, and so we won't be doing a live stream until mid-August when I get back. And so just look forward to that. Here's a note. I know some people have asked me this. Update 6, for those who are running ACT version 24, Update 5 came out a couple of weeks back, well, maybe about a month ago, and we tested it out. It was good, but it only had a few little tweaks and adjustments, so we didn't send out a notification letting people know that it's there and that they could update. What we were waiting for was Update 6. Matt and I had a meeting with 5 or 6 of the software engineers about 3 months ago, and we spent about an hour and a half with them going through a bunch of things that we found needed to get fixed. And so they promised to do those fixes, but what they did say is they wouldn't have it in Update 5. They would try to have all of those things in Update 6. Well, Update 6 is coming out next week, so buckle down. We're gonna give you an update once Matt has had a chance to go through. And did they do all of the things on his list? We will let you know and bring you up to speed with that, and either provide the opportunity for you to update yourself or have us do that for you. So for those who are running version 24, Update 6 is out. I'm excited. I don't know all the changes they've made because they haven't told us that, but they did tell us next week, end of next week, it'll be out. So that's just a heads up. Let's see here. So our gen today, we're going to do a couple of tips in ACT. We're going to show you a few little things. I mean, it's always about how are we going to be a little more productive in what we're doing, and how can we do a little bit better in our use of the ACT CRM software. And sometimes we don't talk about ACT CRM software, and we actually have something today that we're actually going to talk outside of that. But for those of you who don't know me, let's fly this out. It's not coming out. Why not? Oh, sure. Live stream. Here, I'll do this manually. There we are. It's Gary Robillard here. So for those of you who don't know me, it's Gary Robillard, because I know there's probably a few noobs out there that have come in and have not been on this live stream before. So just wanted to let you know who I am. And if you've not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. It helps out. You'll get a notification, and then we'll continue to give you some good information, some education. And if you have any comments, throw them in the comments. We do have the comments thing here up, and we can answer any questions as we're going through. And if there's things that you would like to see in what we're doing, please indicate those in the comments as well. All right, so let's move on. Let's get into some tips, some ACT tips. All right, here we are. So the first ACT tip that we're going to do, I'm just going to move this out of the way. And so the first one we're going to do is, it has to do, how many times do you want to do something, but it takes 3 or 4 clicks to get there, and you go, hey, I just wish it was a little bit faster, a little bit cleaner to get to what I'm trying to do. I'm going to show you how you can customize your toolbar a little bit so that you can have some quick launch buttons. Now, you'll notice up here on the contact screen, there are some quick launch buttons up here, like here's your pin for your map. You can do a duplicated contact. You can do a print. And these are all native in this secondary bar here that you can actually do. But that's what comes with it. I've got a couple of extra ones that I've had some add-on software we've added in. Let me just get rid of this. And so what if you wanted to have a couple of extra little buttons on there and just to make it easier for yourself? Well, you can customize this button bar. And it doesn't matter which screen you're on, whether you're on the calendar screen or if you're on any screen. If you right mouse click, you can go customize and customize what you want to have on this toolbar. Now, there's two ways to get to that customize. One is right mouse click over it and go customize. The other way is going over to your tools drop-down menu and going down to where it says customize. And then it'll have a little flyout here. And you have some selections. One is customizing columns. We're not going to get into that. But here's our menus and toolbars, and we're going to go into that in a second. For those who are visually challenged, like myself, we also have large buttons. So if you look at the size of the buttons, those are standard size. So if I go like this, oh, that's much better, isn't it, for those who can't see as well as maybe some of the other people. So you can go in and under that customize, you can change the size of that. You can also go down here, and if you're not happy with the colors, you can go into the color scheme, and I've showed this before. I've got it on blue right now. You can go black, silver. The only problem with silver, if you're using any of our add-ins, so the black looks pretty nice. It doesn't change this bar to black, unfortunately. That might be something in an upcoming thing. But let's go down here to customize, and we're going to go over here to silver. And the only thing with silver is the icons. I've got to get Matt to change the icons so they're a little bit darker and show up. But you do have the ability to change those as well. So let's get into let's change this back to blue, and then we're going to go in and customize. So I'm going to go right mouse click and customize. Now, actually, before I do that, customize takes in menu items where you can adjust what goes into the menu items and what goes on the toolbar here. And so anything that drops down from here, from any screen, you can access and pull in there. So what I'm going to do is there's two I'm going to pull in. One is I'm going to go to the calendar, and let's say you go to the calendar and you're just looking at it and you're wondering if it's refreshed. Now, every time somebody puts something in, it should be live, but sometimes if you've got anybody synchronizing, it could be a little out, and so you may want to do a refresh before you go in there. Now, you can use F5 to refresh your screen. You can go over here to view, scroll down to the bottom, and go refresh or F5. But a lot of us older folks, we don't have the memory we used to have. And so F5 might be, unless you're doing it all the time. So maybe you just want a button up at the top. So we're going to go customize. And we're going to go to commands. And I'm going to go down here to view, because that's where we found it under the view menu. So I'm going to go over here to view, and now I'm going to scroll down here till I find refresh. And it's not necessarily in alphabetically order. And so I'm going to just grab this, I'm going to drag it up to the top, and you got to get it so that the little icon shows up. There it is. And so there you got refresh. Now the icon doesn't change, so maybe I just want the word refresh. If I right mouse click over this, then I can go and say, I just want text only. And then I close that. And now I can just click the refresh button, and it's going to refresh my screen just in case somebody did a sync or somebody did an update and the calendar's not 100%. So that's a quick way of adding refresh. You can add that to any screen you wish. Now, one of the other ones that people have asked me, and you'll notice in this demo database, I've got a nice little button up here to create a new opportunity. If you want to create an opportunity without having that button, you'd have to go up here to New. You'd have to click on the little arrow on the right-hand side, and then you'd have to, whoops, there you go. And then you'd have to go Opportunity or Control F11 in order to create a new opportunity. But what if I just want to click a button over here on the side because I don't have this? Again, right mouse click, go down to Customize. We're going to go to Commands, and we're going to scroll down till we find Opportunities. There it is right there. And then what we're looking for is New Opportunity. There it is right there. And we're just going to grab that and put it up there. Now again, the icon doesn't show up that well, so you can decide whether you just leave the icon there or not. Totally up to you. I'll leave it there this time. And we'll close that down. So if I want to create a new opportunity, you'll see when you hover over it, it shows the icon. It's just not so much when you're just looking at it in the blue there. And you can't, unfortunately, change that blue. Well, at least natively you can't. So now if I wanted to create an opportunity for Todd Miller, let's go to Todd, our go-to guy. And so now when I press new opportunity, it's going to do its little juggle here, create an opportunity for him and take us to the opportunity screen. And away you go. Create your opportunity, enter your information, and you're off to the races. So that's how easy it is to do. So anything that you want quick access to that you would like to have instead of all of these buttons, like one of the ones that I do all the time is look up my record. So I go look up my record. Then I want to be able to put maybe my look up my record over here. Like I'm on the wrong screen because I'm on opportunities. I'm just going to delete that so it's not in my way. So if I wanted to go look up and pull up my record, instead of going click, click, I could have look up my record here. So take your time and mess around with that. If it goes all screwy on you, which can happen, and I'll just show you this really quick, go into Tools, Customize, and you can, where are you here? Customize. Where's my reset? Somebody stole my reset. It was there yesterday. Color scheme. No. Okay, somebody stole my reset button. I bet you when I was messing around yesterday, I probably deleted it off the list. My apologies. There is a reset button where you can reset your layout, so you can go into customize and reset them, and I must have deleted mine yesterday when I was messing around, so I apologize for that. But on your drop-down menu, it will be there, and you can reset, and everything will be back to the default if you do that. One more thing I'm going to show you before we get into our surprise or our new thing we were kind of alluding to here is one of the things that I was always challenged for. I passed grade 8 typing with one condition and one condition only, that I never took it again. That's how bad I was as a typer. My first sales job, outside sales job, was selling IBM Selectric typewriters back in the day. And you can imagine somebody who couldn't type selling typewriters. So one of the biggest challenges for me is entering data into the system sometimes is it's like, oh, I'm so freaking slow to key stuff in, you know, I put it off and I don't do it. Well, many years ago, I found, back in the day, it was called Dragon Natural Speech, and I would dictate in. Well, now you don't need to spend the money on Dragon Natural Speech. There's a free one that's built into Microsoft operating system on Windows 10 and Windows 11. Previous ones before that I wouldn't use because they weren't that good, but the one in Windows 11 is actually quite good. And so I'm going to walk you through how to set that up and use that. I use two different ones. Because I'm using a Mac system, I will also use the Mac voice recognition as well as the Microsoft one. But to set it up, it's really quite simple. Click on your Start menu, whether you're in Windows 10 and the Start is over there. Just click on the Start menu, type in dictation. I got to move my mic. And it will pop up with voice typing. Click on that, and you're going to come up with this menu item. Now, when you first go to turn this on, it will actually want to download, or possibly, if you haven't already, download the software in order to do the voice recognition. And then once that's set up, then you can just click on this one. I can click on that one too if I wanted to. And it brings it up at the top, but I don't need, it gives you two bars here. I'm just going to take this one out and just leave the flyout one up there. And so it pops that up, so we're good to go. We're going to close this off. And there's one more thing I'm going to do because I want to be able to turn it on and turn it off on random. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to type in Windows Speech Recognition. And whoops, I clicked the wrong button there. And I'm going to right mouse click over this, and I'm going to pin that to my taskbar. So now that's down there. So if I close this down, I can turn it back on. It pops up, and it works really, really well. So I'm going to turn it on, and I'm just going to make a note here. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay, I haven't trained this thing. I just set it up. Testing. It needs to be a little trained, and I haven't trained this one, as you can see. Not bad. Now, one of the things I found is that in ACT on any memo field, it works fantastic, works really good. You do have to train it a little bit, okay? And there is a training little thing in the setup. I'm probably going to do a video on this coming up after my holidays, and just kind of walking through some of the settings and stuff. And there's some on YouTube already. The other thing is, I found here's one problem I did find. Now, it could be in my environment because I'm running a virtual machine, and it could be just my settings. But I found when I go into history and I wanted to dictate, because this is where I do a lot of it. This is just a test to see how this will work. It just grabs the first word for some reason. So this is something I'm not sure if this is just a configuration or not, but it works great in the memo fields. I would say try it. It probably will work on your end. It's just I think it was some of the settings that I created. And then so what I do is, let me just turn this off. I use my Mac one a lot, and so it's just a press of the button. Over the next 5 years, we'll discuss a transition from moving to a client-based whatever to a new system. And I had my cap locks on. Sorry about that. But you can see that using dictation, whether you're using a Mac and you're using the Mac one, which you probably won't. Most of you are using Windows, and that's just fantastic. Just make sure that you set this up, and I didn't really I just give you the quick overview of how to set that up, but give it a try. For those of you who are typing challenged like myself, this might be the golden goose for you as far as getting information into the system and creating a synergistic environment for you and the rest of your team. Because if you don't get it into ACT, guess what? It's sitting either in your head or on a piece of paper somewhere that the rest of the team doesn't have access to. So make sure that you take the time to figure out for yourself if this is something that would make your life a little bit easier, a little bit faster, and get that information in. And you don't have to spend money on Dragon Natural Speech. Use the native one in here, but just make sure you train it, which I haven't done yet. All right. Let's get into the next piece. So what is new? In there, I alluded to something's new. You know, most of the guys are on this call today. And by the way, if you have any comments or questions, don't hesitate to put that in the comments area or ask any questions you have. One of the things that we all have challenges is we're busy. We're smoking busy. And what happens is there's a lot of things we would like to do, but we're running from pillar to post, and we just don't seem to get time to do the things that we'd like to do. You know, there's only so much time in the day, and we've got certain demands. Sometimes we're wearing multiple hats, and it's just we're stretched, and we can't get things done. And so we've come up with something on an area that I know that a bunch of people have asked me about, and we're actually doing some right now for a few of our clients. And we've only been able to do a few because because bandwidth on our side, but that's now changed. And so I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Mike Little. Now, Mike, good to have you on today on our live stream.
Hi, Gary. Thank you for having me.
And I am super excited about this because like you, I've got a background in sales and marketing and communication. You've got more in a communication. Mine's more sales and marketing. Yours is sales, marketing, and communication. But let me tell you a little bit about Mike first, and then we're going to go in and kind of explain this new thing that we're going to be offering. So Mike has been, a professional communicator for, I don't know, how many years, Mike? Forever?
I really don't want to own that. That's how long. But it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, for sure. And, and Mike has worked with top companies like GM Canada, Nissan Canada, working on a lot of their their assets that they do, training that they've done with. He works right across Canada. He traveled, like, I think he was hardly home for most of his career, because he was on a plane going someplace to train somebody. And he's done, produced regional programs, events, did videos, live streams, content creation. So he's got this background that is just amazing, and we're glad to have him with us to take us to the next level as far as helping our clients get to where they need to be in marketing, right? And sometimes, Mike, we don't want to use the word marketing. It's kind of like the word sales, right? It's like,
Yeah,
ooh, and people go, oh, well, I'm not sales, I'm an account manager, and so we don't like using the word
exactly.
marketing, and it seems daunting for the person. So, what do you think about that?
Well, we're going to put the word marketing up here. We're going to talk about it, but let's face it. What marketing is the process of really communicating with our customer. Whether it's an existing customer or a potential customer, we want a way of communicating with them so that they not only recognize us for what we do, but also they have this desire to do business with us, to come back over and over again and participate in what we offer into the marketplace. That's what we want. And
Right.
so the word marketing, yeah, it's more of a proper communication in the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and back in the day, we've read books like Raving Fans by Ken Blanchard, and how do we keep the clients we have, and how do we get new ones? This whole retention and acquisition strategies, um, and most of us, we're running busy, and what gets dropped first, what I've found over consulting for, well, I won't talk about as many years as I've been doing it either, is that people slip through the cracks because we're just so busy and we don't get to them. And we all have that to a certain degree. It's being cognizant and having a system in place, and that's what I'm finding that most people don't have because they're so busy.
Yep. And that's really true. And in fact, probably one of the biggest issues with marketing is that whole idea that marketing is this massive process, that there's so much that goes into it, that we have to apply so much of our own capital and our own time in order to make the marketing that we want to do work. And
Right.
that's just not exactly the case. There's lots of help out there for us if we know where to reach for it.
Right, right. And that's where we come to this. We've got something new. We're able now to provide some help in that area because, with the way the economic situation is now, keeping our existing clients is crucial. If you don't have a plan for keeping your existing clients, I'll promise you that they're going to fall away somehow, some way if you're not keeping up. And so you've got to put a bit of a plan together. So, Mike, we're going to switch into the other screen here so that you uh, can go into this.
Well, thanks. As a matter of fact, here's that big nasty word, marketing. But what marketing is, and we're just going to use a bit of a kitchen analogy here, and well, my favorite pie. I can't help it. I like pie, and as you can tell, I like pie. All right, here we go. The reality is that, and for many of you that do a lot of marketing, this is going to seem very rudimentary. But for others who may do less, this may be very helpful. Marketing really starts with a plan, and that plan will usually involve assets, things that we can use to be able to accomplish that plan. And from a marketing perspective, those slices of the pie, that beautiful pecan pie that you see there, are many. There are many different ways of approaching it. And of course, what you see on the screen is nowhere close to the full extent of what's there. This might be a little oversimplified, but the reality is that when we talk about a plan is sometimes very casual, sometimes formal. But that plan is usually set up around the assets that we have available to us. For example, perhaps you have a database, and if you're an Act CRM person, you've got a database sitting there of clients and people that you would like to do business with. Maybe you have someone in your office that's pretty decent copywriter, and so they type up all of the emails that you send out, or maybe even a newsletter. Or maybe you have someone that's pretty handy on the computer and they can pull together some clip art and throw together some graphics for you, and away you go. And your plan will literally be made up of what assets you have available to you right now. Now, for others, the idea is the plan. What's the plan supposed to be like? What should I be doing as far as the plan is concerned? Well, that's a big question, and we'll get to that in just a few moments. For other people, it boils down to this. Maybe all they need is a way of being more easily recognized by their customers as for what they do, or a simple communication plan. And if that's all they require, that's all that their plan has to encompass. So the reality is that the plan is either a big plan, which is all of the parts and pieces coming together. There's expense that is being laid out for all of this, or it's just a little plan. And the reality is that that depends entirely on your business. It depends entirely on your customer base, the demographic and the geographic aspects of your customer base. So you need to have what you need, no more, no less. And sometimes it's hard to be able to balance all of that. So let's just get rid of the pie analogy for a minute, okay? And let's talk for a little bit about first steps. This is what's new with CoreLogix. We're going to be offering done for you marketing. And that done for you marketing, of course, will be as big or as small as is necessary for your needs. The first steps are very simple. We're going to be taking a look and at an assessment of where you are and where you would like to be, and figuring all of that out along with the budget allows you to be able to see where the gaps are in your program right now and what you could be doing. Secondly, we're going to be developing a current market plan. In other words, you've got goals right now. Those are the things that we're going to focus on, is what's important for you today and accomplishing that. Then I'm going to build the assets that are necessary, whatever that happens to be. Maybe you need a video on your website. Maybe you need an email campaign to promote a new product that you have. Whatever it is, the assets and access to building those assets is what this Done For You marketing program is all about, is being able to be as big or as small as you need it to be. The next step is, of course, to deploy. It's to put this information out in front of your customers. It's to help them see who you are, what you offer, and invite them to do business with you. That deployment, while important, is not that hard. It's pretty straightforward, and we can help with that. Finally, no plan is worth anything unless there's some form of evaluation that goes along with it. And of course, where you have access to, say, Act marketing automation or something along those lines, there's an ease to being able to find that data on what you just did with your marketing plan and see whether it's been successful or not. What you want is you want success on your terms. You want to see what successful to you actually means. But as with everything else, the evaluation also allows you to adjust, to make the corrections that you need along the way, and be able to use what works best for your customers And that's what we can help you with. Ultimately, it boils down to two key questions. Okay. And those key questions are: where are you in your marketing and communications plan as of right now? When was the last time you even looked at your marketing plan? Um, if you can see where you are, that helps a lot at making a decision about where you would like to be, right? And the second big question I want you to consider is this one: which piece of the pie would strengthen your marketing and communication efforts today? There's probably something that you feel that you lack, or an asset, access to an asset that you feel you lack. One of the things with this question, if you are following along here and you've got something that just popped into your head, something that you need, something that you think would be good, just jot that down in the comments section. Let us take a look at that. We'll kind of get a bit of a poll, if you will, of what might be missing from your marketing strategy and your communication strategy today. Those elements are what this is all about, is being able to provide the strength and the support as we continue to do our jobs running our businesses. Okay.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you know, really, when you think about, and we've been there. We've Mike and I both know what it's like to sitting there going, I need to do this, but I've got 100 other things that I've got to take care of, and really, you know, there's fear too, like daunting. I know the first step is, you know, I've talked about you know, marketing plans before, and I know that people are like deer in the headlights. They're just like, oh, not another thing to do, and that can be difficult to just wrap your head around. I mean, we just did a webinar or a workshop on ACT marketing automation, and I know people were probably in the bathroom getting sick just because they saw how much it could do. And it's like, okay, how can I implement all of these things? And and it's being able to pull all that stuff together for you. And like Mike said, having a return on investment. That last part where you evaluate, it's like, how if we're making more money by spending some of our marketing dollars or resources towards that, then we're going to be ahead of the game. And so that's what we're here for, is to kind of help with that.
Yeah, one of the great strengths is, I mean, there's not every business out there that has the ability to just do a meaningful video, properly branded and presented, that puts what you want to communicate out to your customers. Sure, I mean, it should be casual. It should feel a little bit like it's you talking to your customer. However, it's nice to know that you can access help at making sure that it's all properly branded, professionally cut together, and make it work as it should be. Same thing with a simple thing like an email campaign. What works? What's going to get that email opened? What's going to get the response that you're looking for from your customers? And that's the strength of Done For You marketing, is that we can help make that stuff come together so that your success is much more likely through that process.
Absolutely. Well, and Mike and I, you know, we spend a lot of time, looking at, especially, you know, marketing campaigns that go out. It's like, you know, what does the subject line like? Is it enough for the person to want to click on it? And then what's the content? Is there a call to action? Like all of these different things. And a call to action could be just, you know, keeping connected. Could be, you know, like we did with in the beginning, subscribe to my channel. Maybe that's all it is. But unless you take the time to sit down and kind of figure that out, you're kind of you're just going to be where you're at last year or the year before, and you'll be in the same place. And so the way things are now, I think, you know, with this done for you marketing, to whatever degree, like Mike said, whatever degree you want to engage, we can engage and help you and come up with a and I think the plan is the first thing, right, Mike?
Absolutely. Coming to understand your business, what you want out of it, is more important than anything else that we do. And with that understanding, it's easy to put together a simple, direct plan that can be implemented quickly.
Right. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to be offering, a high level assessment for anybody who wants to do it. It'll be free. And it's again high level, so we may have to, as we get into somebody that maybe wants a little more complicated. And I've gotten a good handle of a lot of our clients of where they're at with their marketing. Some are wanting to do stuff; they're chomping at the bit, but they don't have the time. And then we've got some people like my friend Sean. His office is doing fantastic. Natalie is like a keener. They've got an asset there that can do all of this stuff, and so they are in good position. They may need a little help here and there, but for the most part, they're self-sufficient and just going great. But there were some steps for them to get there, and we were there to help them out. But the nice thing is, it doesn't matter where you're at. Let's start somewhere, and free assessment's a good place to start to find out where you're at. Get your temperature. Um, anything before I wrap up, Mike? Anything that you want to contribute before we move on?
No, this is actually a very exciting part of my career is being able to offer this. As Gary said, I'm one of those strange people that has almost 2 million miles of flights inside Canada. And I can tell you that not going and getting on an airplane is quite a pleasure for me. So I'm happy to be sitting right here and bringing some of what I know and love to do to CoreLogix as well. So
Yeah, and some of the things that Mike has done has just been amazing. Just blowing me away. Some of the live events that he's done for these different automobile dealer manufacturers,
manufacturers.
and some of the things we're gonna be showing some of the stuff we're gonna be offering. Like you see what we're doing here.
Yeah.
We can do this for you. What we're
Yep.
doing right now, we can actually act as a producer and produce live streams for you where you don't have to know anything and you can get out to your clients. This is just one thing that possibly could fit into your agenda. All right, Mike,
Yep.
thanks. Anything else before I shift gears here?
Nope. Thanks for having me on with you today, Gary. Look
Awesome.
forward to
Thanks.
doing this.
Yeah, me as well. Thanks, Mike. All right, so just as a wrap up, everyone, just make sure if you want to. I'm going to be going on holidays as of next week. I'm going to be gone for a little bit. If you want to reach out to Mike, here's Mike's contact info, Mike at corelogix.ca. You can just email him and just say, "Hey, Mike, I'd like to set up a time to have a quick conversation with you," and then he can start the ball rolling, at least finding out where you're at. Where would you like to go on an interim? And the nice thing is you can do a step approach to this. You can say, I'm here. Here's the goal. I want to get way down here, but let's take some incremental steps to get there. It doesn't matter what it is. Let's help you get to where you need to be in connecting with your clients and your potential clients and helping you bridge that gap. So grateful to have you on, everyone. Grateful that you were able to show up today. For those of you who are catching the recording, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Again, if you can't get a hold of me, get a hold of Mike with regards to this, and we can definitely help you out. Hope you have an awesome weekend. All the best, and we'll talk to you on the next one.